here we go. All right, welcome back, interdimensional, intergalactic, international friends. This is Wolf, and you're tuned in to some more live tarot readings with Wolf as we get things happening here across YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch. Thank you so much for joining in. For those of you who are tuned in to the broadcast right at the beginning, huge bonus points for you. Drop those 1111s in the chat, and we'll be getting things ready and rolling in the next moment as we get into our first reading as soon as we are ready. So if you are here right at the beginning, go ahead and share this broadcast with your friends. And I'm going to begin the broadcast in the 1111 movement group. Once I do that, there's going to be probably about like 1,000 people who tune in, give or take. So starting the broadcast in the 1111 movement group, and we're going to get right into our first reading as soon as possible. I got 2 hours on the clock before I have to run out and play some hockey tonight, so that's my schedule. So let's get in as many readings and as many new Patreon signups as we can. We're setting the goal for at least 2 new Patreon signups as we do this broadcast. For those of you on the on the Instagram, click the link in my bio to jump over on YouTube. Starting the broadcast in the 1111 movement group right now, which again is one of the groups that I'm one of the admins for. So as we do that, we'll get like 50 people tuned in, and we'll get right into our first reading as soon as possible. Stand by. And we are now live in the 1111 movement group. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in and being here. Once again, my name is Wolf, aka Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon, Wolf Shield, welcoming you to another live tarot readings with Wolf as we get things all set up and ready to go. For those of you who are here right off the start, thank you so much for joining in. And if it's your first time here, go ahead and drop a 222 in the chat, and I'll give you a special shout out. We'll give you a quick introduction in terms of what to be able to expect from the broadcast. And again, for those of you who are on the YouTube, thank you as well. If you haven't already yet, go ahead and like the video on YouTube so that way more people can find out about the broadcast. And if you have been here before, welcome back. And for those of you who are new for the first time, I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction in terms of what to be able to expect. And stand by. Actually, it looks like I have to... Yeah, okay, 1 second. Looks like the watch party didn't actually launch properly in the 1111 movement group, so I'm actually just going to have to redo that real quick. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it glitches. It's kind of weird. So it just like did the watch party, I think, to my... Yeah, it literally did it to my own profile. So give me 2 seconds here as we are just going to redo that again so that the people in the 1111 movement group can join in, and hopefully it'll work this time. So stand by, and thank you again for everyone holding space. All right, here we go. Okay. All right. There we go. Perfect. All right. Aloha and welcome everyone for joining in to some more live tarot readings with Wolf. I am your host, Wolf Shield, Brendan, Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon, welcoming you once again for another opportunity for us to be able to come together as a community, to be able to put out the signals to the universe, to ask the intention, to set the intention, to show us what we need to see, to be able to use the tarot cards as a conduit, and for myself to be able to practice delivering some badass, inspirational, insightful, and motivational messages to be able to help assist you on your journey. For those of you who are here for the first time, drop a 222 in the chat. Thank you so much for joining in. If this is your first time here, I'm going to give you a brief introduction in terms of what to be able to expect from the readings. I got about just under 2 hours on my schedule right now to be here with you, with the community, with the team, before I have to run out to go play some hockey. So as we do these broadcasts, the way how we do those, for those of you who may be here for the first time, we're going to do a reading for someone right out of the chat to begin with. And then the additional readings that we do are going to be created and sparked by people signing up on Patreon, which you can see the link for down here below. So the intentions during this broadcast are to be able to provide awesome values through doing tarot readings and providing inspirational insight and support for people tuned in, to be able to invite people to be a part of the global team, the global community that we are creating here through the Paradigm Shift Central project, which I'm the director of. It's a project I've been doing for like 10 years. I'm a full-time conscious media creator, and to be able to invite people to join on Patreon, which is where they can sign up to support not only the work that I do, but to be able to get support in return, and also to be able to be a part of the Paradigm Shift Central community as a leading member as well. So with that said, we're going to get right into our first reading, and here are your basic instructions. First of all, if you haven't already yet, share this broadcast with your friends so that more people can tune in to the inspirational messages that we are sharing. And then from there, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a number, and the 8th person who enters this number into the chat will be the first person that we do our first reading for tonight. So with that said, go ahead and share this broadcast with your friends if you haven't already yet. For those of you on Instagram, click the link in my bio to be able to tune in on YouTube. And again, we'll do the first reading, and if it's your first time here, let this just be a chance for us to be able to connect. For those of you who haven't met me before, I'm a full-time conscious media creator. I've been creating dope-ass inspirational conscious media for the community for over 10 years. And by doing these broadcasts, it's an awesome way for us to just be able to connect, to build relationship, and for you to just be able to get to experience some of the vibes and the devotion and the intention and the value that we are bringing here to the community. So with that said, let's get right into our first reading. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a number. And again, the 8th person who enters this number into the chat will be the first person that we do the reading for. If you haven't already yet, share this broadcast with your friends. It's part of the instructions. So share this broadcast with your friends. If you're in the 1111 movement group, what you'll actually have to do is click on my profile and then share it from my profile wall there to be able to invite more people to tune in. But nonetheless, let's get right into our first reading as soon as possible. And again, we'll set the intention for at least 2 new Patreon signups during this broadcast, but the first reading will be for someone right out of the chat. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in. And yeah, let's do this. Let's have some fun. So I'm going to give you a number. Do not enter in this number right away. Allow yourself to just kind of like listen to your heart, listen to your intuition, and then only enter it in once. And the 8th person who enters this number into the chat across the multiple chats that we have will be the first person that we do our first reading for today. And when we do these readings, I'll just clarify that I don't do these as like fortune telling. I don't do these as psychic readings. It's a way for us to be able to set the intention of show us what we need to see, for us to be able to receive that message from the universe, and for us to be able to encode that message towards our intention of supporting us as light workers, light guardians, shifters, people who are here to help shift consciousness. So here is your number. The number that I am going to give you is the number 555. So take a moment here, just kind of take a breath. Allow yourself to just kind of listen to your intuition, only entering the number once. And when you are ready, enter that number into the chat. And as those numbers start appearing, I'll keep an eye on things and I'll keep track of who the 8th person is who enters that number into the chat. And then that will be the person that we do our first reading for here tonight. So as those numbers start coming in, we'll keep an eye on that and we'll be able to determine and decide who the first person is that we are going to do our reading for tonight. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in. And again, that number is 555. So if you haven't already yet, you can go ahead and drop that in. And here they come. So allow me to just kind of focus in as the numbers are coming in. And again, there's multiple chats here. So there's like YouTube and Facebook. So I have to keep track of all of them. So allow me to I just got to like focus here. So make sure I'm keeping track of all of them. Wait for it. And still waiting for it. No worries. It's all good. Okay. Apologies for the tension through the silence. All right. Looks like we got a little bit of a smaller audience today, but that's all right. So, still waiting for it. Still waiting for it. Here it comes. Here it comes. No worries. All right. If I hadn't entered in yet, still looking for one more 555. The next person who enters it, it's the person who's going to be the 8th. There it is. All right, cool. The first person who we're going to do our reading for tonight is going to be for Lindsay Reed. So Lindsay Reed in the 1111 movement group, thank you so much for being here. And again, for everybody here, allow this to just be an opportunity for you to be able to receive the messages as well. So even though we're going to work with Lindsay to be able to do this reading, again, this is like a collective reading as well. So again, by you simply being here, there is a message here for you, and a reminder that this is all just like practice as well. This is practice for me too. So this is a chance for us to be able to learn and play together. We've been doing these broadcasts for quite a while, and again, this is another awesome opportunity for us to just be able to grow together as a team. So Lindsay, let us know if you're ready in the chat in the 1111 movement group. And thank you again for being here, and thank you again everyone for participating. If you haven't already yet, please feel free to share this broadcast as we get ready to be able to go into our first reading. And then again, as we do this first reading, we'll be keeping an eye on Patreon signups, and the additional readings that we will be doing will be for people as they sign up onto the Patreon. And again, Patreon is a website where you can support artists with monthly micro contributions. And one of the super cool things that you can get when you sign up on my Patreon is one of these super beautiful Lemurian Light Guardian Crystals. So Lindsay, go ahead and let us know that you are ready for this first reading, and we'll get into it as soon as possible. And I'll do my best to be able to do as many readings as we can before I have to head out for hockey. So again, Lindsay, when you get a chance, even after this reading, please go ahead and check out my Patreon for everybody here. You can see the link for that on screen. I'll post the link for that into the chat now. And when you sign up onto the Patreon, yes, that will get you the next reading on air for both yourself and the community. But again, I want you to be able to see signing up on the Patreon as a way to be able to like see the work that I do, and to be able to be like, yo, like this guy is fucking awesome. There's so much value that he's providing for the community, and I want to be able to help support this, and I want to be able to be a part of this. So when you sign up onto the Patreon, yeah, I already mentioned you can get one of the beautiful Lemurian Light Guardian Crystals at the $11 level or higher. But in addition to that, you can also get access to me as a private conscious media creation coach, and I do also have additional higher level value of additional like soul coaching, which is like for people who are interested in that. And there's also the option for you to join as a leading member within our community, and that's where you can join our on-air broadcast, be within our private community of conscious media creators, and lots of cool stuff. So Lindsay, thank you for being here. I'll explain more about the Patreon as we go, but again, let's work on getting that first Patreon sign up as we're doing this reading, setting the intention of 2 Patreon signups during this broadcast, and we'll get right into this. So Lindsay, we're going to do the reading with you during using the Ananda Tarot deck. And for anybody who signs up for the Patreon, you can actually choose the Lightworker Oracle deck as well as like another option. So Lindsay, confirming that you are ready. And for everybody here, I just invite you to, if you haven't already yet, share this broadcast with your friends as we get ready to get into this first reading. So Lindsay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to invite you to just drop into your heart space. And then from there, we're going to focus on the intention of show us what we need to see. And then when you're ready, you're going to type now into the chat. I'll walk you through this. And for everybody here, I just invite you to join along and to just be able to like practice holding space together. So Lindsay is ready. Everyone is here. All right, let's do this. Lily, one of our Patreon supporters, is in the chat as well. Lily, thank you for being here as well. All right. For everybody here, just inviting you to close your eyes. Put your hand on your chest if you wish, and just take a few gentle breaths. Just bring yourself into this place of gratitude. Bring yourself into the presence of this moment. Just feeling the gratitude of being connected with all the other amazing people on this broadcast. Each and every single one of us tuned in right now, resonating with a very specific frequency of those of us who are here to be able to help change the world, to shift the consciousness of the planet. So Lindsay, I invite you to just focus in on this gratitude, this feeling. And as you're in this space, Lindsay, I invite you to focus on the intention of show me what I need to see. And you can even focus on the intention of show us what we need to see. Us being the community, being anyone who's tuned into this broadcast. So focus on that intention, Lindsay. Speak it with your heart, speak it with your mind, speak it with your words, speak it with your soul. Take a few more breaths here, Lindsay, and when you are ready, type now into the chat and we will split the deck. And I'm just going to charge it up a little bit more. So and so, my friends, I thank you once again for joining and being a part of this journey that never truly ends, as we come together here in circle to be able to celebrate all the things that rise us through the chakras all the way up to the purple, as we ascend into the master realms to be able to bring down the wisdom off the shelf and ground it here into this dimensional plane so that we can invite others how to play this game. This game of sharing love, this game of shifting paradigms, this game of showing up each and every single day, each and every single time, with love and compassion, with wisdom in our heart, with the courage to be able to change the world with the power of our heart. So as we breathe into this space and hold our intentions as a team, we'll allow ourselves to pull a card and to see what message the universe has for you and for me. So, Lindsay, when you are ready, type now into the chat and we will split the deck and see which message the universe has. So as we're just holding space here, I invite everyone to continue to breathe, and I thank you once again for being here with me as we continue to practice the infinite realms of Floetry, because it will just keep coming out. That's just the way it's gotta be, because it's an infinite tap of creativity. And there's the now from Lindsay. I rhymed her name. Let's split the deck and see what message the universe has. Okay. This is funny. All right, the card that we have pulled for our first reading for today is number 8, Justice. This is the Justice card. So, all right, give me 2 seconds here. I'm just going to open this up into the book. And what I do here in terms of my style is I read from the book, and then I go a little bit deeper into my own explanation and kind of channeled message. Again, my intention here is to be able to deliver a message of inspiration, something that's going to be valuable for you to hear and be like, oh shit, you know, like that's okay, cool. Like that gives me something to think about, or maybe that gives me something to reflect on, something to motivate, something to inspire, something to cultivate the fire within. So, all right, we got that fire lit. All right. Thank you again, everyone, for joining in. And again, thank you, Lindsay. And again, for everyone here, let's keep focusing on this one. And we'll do our next reading for the first person who has signed up for the Patreon. And I'll post the link in for the chat. But again, if this is your first time here, go ahead and just relax. Allow this to just be an opportunity for you to be able to learn more about what I do. And again, you can always check the Patreon later. You can sign up for it later. There's a lot of awesome value there. And again, when you sign up onto the Patreon, you can get a private reading as well, plus like all the other cool stuff, including a beautiful Lemurian Light Guardian Crystal. So go ahead and check it out when you can, and let's focus in on this first reading. So Lindsay and anybody here, as I'm reading things, go ahead and drop an 1111 in the chat if it resonates with you. All right, let's do this. So looking at the visual image here of the Justice card, this is a very beautiful image that we have here on this card. And you can see there's like this almost like higher etheric energy being that's standing like in a huge scale. Like they're huge. You can tell they're huge because they're literally like behind the mountains, and you can see these like structures around them kind of looking down over society or culture, so to speak. And you can obviously see the scales. One with a sphere and one with a cube, and yeah, very like cool design representation of the scales, the Libra scales. And of course you can see there's like this like just this portal of light kind of coming down from the crown of this being, and you can actually see, it's kind of hard to see, but there's actually a face. You can see there's like eyes kind of behind the being, and you can also see a little bit of like sacred geometry kind of pouring out, almost like a portal. And then yeah, and then you kind of got like these like cool just kind of like bushes and stuff down there at the bottom. And yeah, just like a very powerful imagery behind this card. So Samantha, just want to respond to your question there. Samantha, I'd be happy to do a private reading with you within these broadcasts. We'll just like kind of like focus on, again, just like inviting new people to sign up for the Patreon. So Samantha, make sure you send me a direct message, and we can definitely do like a private reading if you're okay with that. So that way, so we're just kind of like focusing on, again, helping get the new people signed up for the Patreon during this broadcast. And thank you, Samantha. Thank you as well for being here and adding your supports. All right, so let's dive a little bit deeper. Lindsay, for anybody here, again, if you are here, this message is for you. All right. Number 8, Justice. The image. With its head in heaven and its feet on the ground, the figure of a mysterious being rules over earthly events. A scale hovers in front of the being as a symbol of natural balance. Meaning, with the image of justice, we step into the level of existence at the beginning of the major arcana's second sequence of 7. While Jupiter represents the principle of mercy before right, Saturn sticks with the principle of justice without mercy. On one side of the scale is the law of karma, the immovable law of cause and effect. On the other side of the scale is the law of love, the gentle law of trust and forgiveness. In Buddhist realms, the law of karma is presented in a very transparent manner. Bound in the play of nature's powers, in the world of duality, man who has recognized himself as a creature of polarity has the possibility of consciously influencing the world of opposites. Therefore, he not only has to accept responsibility for his actions, but also for the world in which he moves. In the first image of the level of creation, we learned with the magician, as above, so below. In this level of existence, we learn as within, so without. For the image of justice, this means we will be judged in the same way we judge. You can reread that part. For the image of justice, this means we will be judged in the same way that we judge. Perceiving the law of karma on one side of the law of love, on the other side of the scale, results in the recognition of as within, so without. The way in which we perceive our physical body in the material world is also the way in which our soul perceives our ethereal body in the ethereal world. As a body, we are separate within the world of bodies. However, as a soul, we are connected to the life force of the divine, and therefore we are able to stretch our perceptions beyond the boundaries of our own being. Every pain and every joy of other beings becomes our own pain or joy. I'll reread that. Every pain and every joy of other beings become our own pain or our own joy. As a soul, we no longer act out of duty, but out of compassion. Whether or not man follows the path of right action, he will reap the fruits of his deeds accordingly. Every action that is taken because of the sense of duty always has a motive. Love has no motives. Love is enough in itself. If we act out of love, we will no longer need interminably long law books or the 10 Commandments, not even one commandment. In order to take the next step and do justice to God, the world, and oneself, we are challenged to make our decisions from a higher level of consciousness. At the level of the magician, magic tools were given to us in the form of the sword, the cup, the sphere, and the flame as symbols of the 4 elements. At the present level, for us to continue on our way, it is necessary to have both sides of the scale as a symbol for a higher level of discrimination. Astrological significance: Jupiter, Saturn, Libra. Keywords: discriminatory ability, sense of justice, forgiveness, release of feelings of guilt, restoring natural balance, mercy, mercy before right, acting out of compassion, sincerity. Traditional meaning: letting go of judgments, balance, virtue, weighing and balancing, submitting to a higher order, equal rights. Okay, so again, Lindsay, go ahead and just drop any comments in the chat as we're here, and just let us know that you're still here. And for anybody else, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into, again, what I want to be able to help bring forth in the message of this card. And so this is a very, very powerful card and a very important card, because again, with this card, ultimately what I want to be able to help bring forward as a message is the importance of us to be able to step into our duty as being the judge within our own life, yet being a judge from a place of love, being a judge from a higher point of perspective, from a higher degree of consciousness, which can see things again in that Buddha type nature, where instead of just, again, if someone does you wrong, instead of just being they did me wrong, therefore they must be wronged, instead what the judge should be focusing on is breaking cycles of trauma, breaking cycles of grief, breaking cycles of abuse, breaking cycles of violence, breaking cycles of, again, taking, enforcing our will upon others. And so part of the way in how we do this is by being able to, again, see those who act out of order of what we recognize as justice, but being able to meet them from a place of compassion while still holding them accountable. So it's kind of like that thing where, imagine back in the day when a bully was in high school or in grade school, and was like picking on a friend of yours, and you would naturally get angry, you would naturally get pretty pissed off, and you have a right to be pissed off, and there is such thing as sacred anger, and that anger within inside of you is because of your internal judgment to be able to differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. And a lot of that judgment comes from your natural ability as the universe to constantly be striving back to harmony. And that harmony is in that place of compassion. It is in that place of balance. It is in that place of being able to see the divine within you and me. But instead of just being constantly and always angry at the bully in that circumstance, as an adult who probably understands things a little bit better nowadays, what would be the more appropriate situation with that? If you were like the principal of the school, your job wouldn't just be to like be like, oh, okay, like this kid's got issues, let's kick him out and let's like leave him to his own demise, where he's probably just going to repeat patterns. Instead, you know, the principal, the teacher, like they are very much like kind of the judge in that circumstance, where they are kind of like deciding how one will be treated. And so what would be better is if in that moment, the person, the bully in this circumstance, is still held accountable for their actions, but is also given space to be able to be met with love, is being given space to be able to understand that they themselves are probably acting out because there's hurt within themselves, because they are carrying wounds. And usually, again, like anger, like their anger that they project onto someone else is usually because there is a lack of love that they are receiving, and they have trouble communicating that. As an adult, we can understand this. And so as in that circumstance, whether again this be like a bully or anyone in any circumstance, it's important for us as individuals and, you know, members of society to not just like see someone who does something wrong and cast them away to an island or shove them into a corner or push them under the rug, metaphorically speaking. Instead, we need to look at why they acted the way they did, where the wounds are, and how they can be healed. That is like where the justice of compassion is so incredibly important. And so again, what I want to be able to invite you to be able to do, Lindsay, for everybody here who is like, you know, been on the opposite side of someone like doing something that felt like it was out like not just, I want you to be able to say in your mind to that circumstance, to that person, I want you to be able to think about it right now and to be able to say, thank you for helping me. Thank you for helping me. Because when you approach a situation like that, you're able to see it from a higher perspective, where even in that moment, you understand that when you refuse to like express compassion, when you refuse to kind of give love to another person, you are neglecting that love from yourself. And so instead, again, I'm not saying like, oh, like be a pushover, and if someone crosses your boundaries, just be like, I forgive you, woo! Like, no, you have the right to be angry, because there is a sacredness to your anger, because you actually care about boundaries, you care about integrity, you care about being able to create good patterns that will help create a healthy ecosystem and a healthy social situation. But at the same time, can you be able to like say like, yo, here's some fire? Like that's what can happen in a circumstance where it'd be like someone kind of steps over your boundaries and be like, yo, here's some fire to let you know that that's not cool. But at the same time, I'm going to meet you with water, and I'm going to remind you that I want you to grow from this. In the same way, I say thank you to you for allowing me to grow from this by allowing me to show up to this situation with compassion. And so again, it's kind of like one of those simple things where it's like, you know, like someone cuts you off in traffic and flips you off, and it naturally is just kind of like this thing where it's like, oh, you know, road rage mode, and your mind is almost looking for an excuse to get angry, to like be pissed off. You're just like, oh, sweet, I get to be pissed off and it gets to be justified. But at the same time, what would happen if you were just like, someone like, you know, cuts you off in traffic, and then you're just like, okay, that person, like, that wasn't very cool, but at the same time, is it worth it for you to just like get incredibly angry? Or can you just be in that moment, just be like, oh, like, I send you love, you know, like I'm a little bit like annoyed, but at the same time, I send you a little bit of love, and thank you for helping me. Thank you for helping me become aware of my reactive tendencies in that moment. And the other big thing about this justice thing is also to be able to practice turning that judgment inwards and to be able to treat our inner judgment with compassion, to be able to practice forgiving ourselves, to practice forgiving the moments where, I mean, how many people have been in a situation where you probably did something that like you regretted or that was kind of stupid? And even sometimes this happens where like literally you'll do something and it's like you do it and you're just like, why did I even do that? Like, that doesn't even feel like it should have been me. Like, it's almost as if like spirit did that through me. I'm still going to learn from it. I'm definitely not going to do it again. But at the same time, that action could somehow like open up like this necessary chain of events, which could bring things to the surface and bring about very important realizations and healing. And then in that circumstance, it's important to be able to just kind of like say to the moment, you're just be like, oh, like, okay, like, thank you for helping me, to myself. Thank you for helping me become more aware of like my own kind of like old patterns that might need a little bit of healing, or just kind of like things that I need to be more aware of. And it gives me the opportunity to be able to say thank you to my past for helping me become who I am in the future. There's certain things within our life that, again, you know, like we don't have full control over, things from our past, things from our childhood, but as adults we are fully responsible with how we carry those forward and how we heal the past. And so again, for everybody here, as we just kind of talk about this a little bit more, a big word, a big keywords within this. And again, Lindsay, let me know if this resonates with you, and I'll read your comments there in a second. For anybody else, I'll read your comments there as well. And I appreciate everybody just being a part of this discussion. It's a team discussion. I want you to be able to add, like, you know, what does this card mean to you? So again, the key words in here: sense of justice, forgiveness, release of feelings of guilt, restoring natural balance, mercy before right, acting out of compassion, sincerity. So this is a very, very powerful card that reminds us that we need to be able to like be the judge, to be able to like notice when things go like outside of the lines of compassion, to be aware when things are like, you know, not cool, and to be able to understand that like through us, the universe is seeking to create harmony. And do you create harmony just by meeting it with more chaos, or just by create, you know, like by facing chaos with more chaos? That's probably just going to create more chaos. But again, if need be, carry that sacred anger, but carry that sacred anger from a deep place of love, because you know what you value. But then at the same time, be able to mix in that element of compassion, mix in that kind of like that like motherly energy that's just like, hey, like, you know, like, I'm a little pissed off at what you did earlier today when you like ran through your house with your boots on. I hope you learn from this. I hope you realize how this made me angry, and how it wasn't very cool. But at the same time, I hold you accountable to doing better in the future. I forgive you, and let's move forward together from that place of being able to invite that person to be able to forgive themselves as well. So again, you know, like, there's so many people within our society who, unfortunately, they don't get that. They make mistakes, as humans commonly do, and they are not treated with compassion. And then they get sucked into a system where it just kind of repeats. But we, within an individual level, can begin making the shift, can begin making the change, can begin sending compassion to those who we otherwise thought might not have deserved compassion. And that compassion doesn't mean that you're not holding them accountable. It means that you're holding them accountable from a place of sincerity and from a place of love, inviting them to be able to grow, inviting them to be able to heal, because that is what you want. The judge, the justice within ourselves, is here to be able to create harmony, is here to literally be able to create balance. So we activate that balance within ourselves. We practice being the judge within our own being. Where are we judging ourselves too heavily? Where are we carrying old guilt from the past? Where can we look into our own past at the people who have hurt us? And can you, and I invite you to do this, to just, even in this moment, practice just being able to say to those people in your past, thank you for helping me. The people in your past who have challenged you, who have literally challenged you, yet who have helped you grow, who have helped you become more clear on your boundaries, more clear on your resilience, more clear on your self-worth. Inviting you to say that, thank you for helping me. That's such a powerful thing to say. And when we do that, again, it can literally heal like our connection with the past. So again, traditional meanings in this, in letting go of judgment, balance, virtues. What are the virtues you carry? And again, the virtues are kind of like what you expect, what you carry, what you stand for, what you are a guardian of. And that's a big part of the project that we do within the Paradigm Shift Central community. We refer to ourselves as light guardians. So it's like about standing. What do you stand for? I stand for love and compassion, and for like honesty, and for treating people with respect, and for creativity, and for clean water, and for community events, and for dancing. I stand for all of those things, right? So those can be, again, like your virtues. What are your virtues? And those virtues will give you the courage so that when things are out of balance, you'll be able to be like, yo, okay, like, all right, something needs to be done here. And this is a very powerful card that's calling us into our power and calling us into our responsibility. Submitting to a higher order, equal rights. So again, this is a very, very powerful card that reminds us that yes, it is through the justice of being able to observe when things might be out of balance, but then it is through the love and the compassion that we bring things back into balance. The universe is constantly striving for harmony, and it is constantly striving through you. So again, as within, so without. Practice kind of creating that balance within yourself, kind of become aware of how you may be judging yourself, to be able to forgive yourself, to be able to hold yourself into a place where you're lifting yourself up, but you're lifting yourself up from a place of love. You're lifting yourself up where it's just like, you can do better. And it's not to say that where you were in the past was like, again, like wrong, but it was almost in a way what was needed in order for you to learn those valuable lessons, so that now you have more clarity on understanding what is needed moving forward. So again, drop those 1111s in the chat. We'll just kind of wrap this up here. This is a very, very powerful card. And again, I see this card as a call to action for all of us to let's be the eyes of justice. Let's be the heart of justice, to be able to keep an eye on things and to be able to send compassion to those who sometimes do not get enough of it, and to be able to help heal the wounds, to be able to help release the guilt, to be able to help move forward with harmony and compassion within ourselves and with what we bring to the community through our individual actions. So let us be a beacon of harmony, and let us continue to bring that forth into the world around us. So very, very powerful card. Again, drop those 1111s in the chat if this resonates with you. Thank you again, everyone, for holding space and for being open to receive that message. And let me know if that message like inspires you a little bit, to just be able to be like, okay, you know, like next time that person at work like says something that kind of pisses me off or something like that, maybe I'll let them know how it made me feel. But at the same time, I'm going to be able to like do it from a place of compassion, where you can do that. You can be like, hey, I care about our relationship, and I want you to know that this is how this made me feel, and I'm letting you know this from a place of compassion. Let's work on creating the best relationship possible, instead of just like holding on to animosity and building it up and then turning it into resentment sort of thing, right? A big part of this card is also communication. Make sure you're expressing when things feel like, if someone has crossed your boundaries, it is up to you to make sure that you're properly communicating that. And again, it is up to you to be able to make sure that you're establishing those new boundaries moving forward. And again, holding those people accountable to make sure that they are in alignment with the harmony that you're creating within your space. So very, very cool card. Thank you, Lily, dropping the 1111s in the chat. Miracal dropping the 1111s. Allison W. and Cooper as well. Kyle, Kimmy dropping the 1111s. Lindsay had some comments up here a little bit earlier. I'm gonna go back and read those. And again, we'll do our next reading as soon as we have another person ready to sign up for the Patreon, and we'll get into that next reading as soon as possible. Again, if we can get 2 people signed up for the Patreon right away, then we can get in 2 readings before I have to go to hockey, which is like my game's at 10:30, so I have to leave like a little bit before 10. Lindsay says, I feel that I have been hurt a lot and I have lost a lot. I think it has made me bitter in a way. I've been working on breaking the cycle. I do not want to hurt anyone the way I have been. I also have a better understanding of right and wrong. People who act out in a certain way and or hurt others are broken themselves. Very well said, Lindsay. And again, and I think again, like when we have been hurt, it gives us like a deep understanding of empathy, and it gives us the opportunity to be able to like practice, you know, like healing through that hurt. To again, you know, the cracks is where the light shines through, and again, to be able to better understand where other people may be coming from when they act out. you know, and that's usually the case. It's like the bullies, the people in society who are, again, who are like hurting other people, like they are the ones who are hurting the most. So again, it's up to us as individuals, but also a society to be able to like become more aware of this and to carry the virtues of justice with us through our day-to-day lives as best as we can. So awesome. Samantha dropping the 1111s as well. Samantha, thank you again for your support. And Samantha, again, I just wanted to reiterate, if you're cool with doing a private reading sometimes, let me know. I would love to be able to do that. And thank you for understanding that. Again, right now, we'll just kind of focus on getting some new people synced up with the Patreon. So awesome. Thank you again, everyone. So that was the Justice card. If you would like me to send you a picture of that card, go ahead and send me a direct message and I'll do that. And I can also send you a picture of the write-up that we have from the book as well. And of course, the recording for this is all online, so you can always check that out also. So again, for those of you who are tuned in right now, let's see. I don't even know how many people we have tuned in right now. I think it's a little bit of a, must be a little bit of a quiet night right now. I think people are probably just taking it easy. Sometimes when we do these broadcasts, we have like 80 people tuned in, and then sometimes we have like literally, I think there's probably just maybe like 18 of us tuned in right now. So out of those 18 people, if there's somebody here who feels like they are ready to sign up for the Patreon, please go ahead and do that. And again, you signing up for the Patreon is an awesome way to be able to help support the work that I do for the community, such as these live tarot readings that we do on a regular basis, the guided global meditations. This Wednesday, we have our Paradigm Shift Dream class where we're going to practice talking about dreams and lucid dreaming and dream experiences and all sorts of really, really cool stuff. And again, when you join on the Patreon at the $11 level, you can become a leading member and get the option to be able to join on air for that dream class. And I'm really looking forward to that. I know we're gonna have some exciting conversation there, and I think Lily's gonna be able to join in for that as well. So awesome. Cool. All right. So again, team, we'll do the next reading for, again, both the individual who signs up and also for the community as soon as we have another person signed up for the Patreon, and we'll hang tight for that. It only takes about 3 minutes to be able to sign up for the Patreon, so when you get a chance, go ahead and check that out. But again, if this was your first time just kind of like getting to tune in, allow this to just be like an invitation and an opportunity for you to check out my Patreon at a time when it works best for you. And yeah, for those of you who haven't already yet, on my Patreon you can find like all sorts of like really cool videos that I've done, guided global meditations, full-length movies, free hug videos, lots and lots of really cool stuff. Samantha, so I just reading your comment there. Yeah, I guess you jumped out and then you came back in. Samantha, so what I would prefer, though at the same time I'm open, it's very flexible, is during the broadcast is that we like focus on being able to like create the container and the intention for new people to sign up for the Patreon. That way, so again, with each broadcast that we're doing, we're getting a few more Patreon people signed up, which is like, again, brick by brick by brick, building the support that supports the project. And if you're okay with it, Samantha, I'd love to be able to do a private reading, which again is also like really valuable in itself, because then we can go deeper, and that's where like, again, we can talk on camera together. Like that's like just through like Instagram or a Zoom call as well. So Samantha, let me know if doing a private one-on-one reading is something that you're okay with. And what we could do theoretically, like again, I'd love to be able to we'll see, it's kind of a small audience right now, like I don't know, like maybe it's possible that we might not get a new Patreon sign up tonight. And if that's the case, Samantha, like maybe within the next 10 minutes, if no one signed up for the Patreon, then we can do a reading for you and for the team as well. So either or is cool with me. But again, if we do get a new Patreon sign up within the next few minutes, then we will do a new reading there. But again, it's hard to say, just because at this point, like it's a little bit of a smaller audience tonight. I did a broadcast earlier today, and yeah, and we didn't have any new signups then earlier. But again, I'm here to like stay resilient and keep showing up, and you never know when people are tuning in. And again, this is also an invitation for people to just be able to like experience and get to meet some of the other people in the community, get to meet myself, and to be able to experience the value that we're creating as well. So yeah, super awesome opportunity again for people to not only just be able to be a part of the readings, but to be able to again be able to be invited to join the community that we have building here within the Paradigm Shift Central project. Samantha, thank you for understanding, and boop ba doo. Yeah, I'm just sending out the positive vibes. So again, yeah, as it is right now, I would love to be able to invite someone to sign up for the Patreon. However, again, like, it's a smaller crowd right now, and like half of the people are already signed up for the Patreon. So even if somebody already signed up for the Patreon wants to increase their Patreon pledge, that is also an option too, and then we can do an additional reading on air for the team as well. And yeah, I may be doing a broadcast tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. I might just be doing some back end work and then getting ready for Dream Class. And Dream Class is at 7 p.m. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. So for those of you who are looking to tune in for that, and again, that is through the through my YouTube channel. Cool. Awesome. Sweet. Hey Eve, thanks for joining in. And yes, just answering your question there related to the time for the broadcast. If you're watching this broadcast on the 1111 movement group, go ahead and leave a comment in the chat. Let me know that you are tuned in for the broadcast. And yeah, again, at this point, if anybody is ready to be able to sign up for the Patreon, that will be the next person that we do a reading for on air. Or again, if any of the Patreon supporters wants to increase their Patreon pledge to be able to initiate an additional reading for the team, that is also super appreciated. So we'll have to see. Like, I don't know, like I may be kind of like changing tactics. Like, I may take a break from doing the tarot readings for a bit. It really kind of depends on like what the need is for the community, you know? So because like there is like a lot of kind of time and focus that goes into this, and again, it's with the intention of like meeting people and connecting with people and inviting them, but at the same time, if it's like also, you know, I have to be mindful of like the time and energy that goes into it. And as long as there are Patreon people signing up, then it's like, yes, we'll keep doing it, because like that's building the support brick by brick by brick. But at the same time, like if I do like 3 broadcasts in a row and no one signs up, then I'll just have to take that as a note to just be able to be like, okay, Brendan, time to change tactics and practice being resilient and getting creative and trying some other things, or just taking a break from doing Patreon, the readings for a little bit. Or again, just kind of yeah, just sending more kind of like one-to-one messages out for people. But again, I really appreciate everybody being here. I'm excited to be able to get into another reading as soon as we can. And again, every single person who signs up onto the Patreon is literally like, you're not just supporting me, like you're supporting the work that I'm doing for the entire community, for the seeds that we're planting, for the global impact we're creating, for the time that I put into being able to help support the leading members within the community as a conscious media creator. And again, I'm super honored by everybody here who adds their support to my work in any forms. This is something that, again, is like a devotion within my heart, and I am like super devoted to it, and I'm always learning, I'm always growing, and I really appreciate everybody for being a part of the journey. So for those of you who may be here for the first time, Karen, Kimmy, thank you again for being here. If you're like interested in just being able to check out more of the work that I do through my Patreon, go ahead and do that. And you can always sign up to the Patreon at a later date. And when you sign up at the later date, you can also, again, be able to get a private reading. You can have access to me as a conscious media creation coach. You can get one of the super beautiful Lemurian Light Guardian Crystals. And yeah, you can get involved with our community as a leading member. So let's keep an eye on seeing whether or not there is a new Patreon supporter who is ready to sign up. Again, I got about 45 minutes on my clock, and again, just from having done that first reading, let that again just kind of like serve as a little bit of a sample for what it is that we're doing here, and then honoring the container that we're creating, where again, like, this is new territory. Like, what we're doing here is something that like not many people have really done before. So, you know, I appreciate you guys holding space for me being a bit of the lone wolf and a vanguard here, for helping lead the pack. And again, being able to understand that like me doing this is about being able to build support for the work that I'm continuing to doing for the community, so that we can increase our global impact. So if you feel like you're just like, yo, like, thank you so much, Brendan, for doing what you're doing. I've been following your work for like several months or even several years, and I've already gotten like thousands of dollars of value out of your content, and I'd be happy to, like, you know, be able to like afford like a few dollars extra a month to support the work that you're doing, then go ahead and check out the Patreon. And again, if you're new, then you can also just check out the Patreon, connect with me on social media, follow me for a few months, and then if you feel called, you can always sign up for the Patreon at a later date. And thank you again, Patreon supporters. Again, thank you, Lily. Thank you, Samantha, our Patreon supporters who are hanging out with us in the YouTube chat at this moment. Really, really appreciate you being here. So again, we'll do another reading as soon as we have another person ready to sign up on the Patreon. It only takes about 3 minutes to sign up on the Patreon. You can sign up with a credit card, you can sign up with a PayPal, and again, you can sign up at the $5 level, the $11 level, you can sign up at the $1,000 level. Is all equally appreciated. So for those of you tuned in on Instagram, go ahead and click the link in my bio to be able to jump over to YouTube there. And if anybody here is feeling like they're like, okay, sweet, I'm gonna sign up for the Patreon now, then go ahead and check out the link for the Patreon in the info for this video, or just type it in as you see it on screen. And again, you can join in on the Patreon there. And again, let's work on getting at least a couple more readings in the meantime for this broadcast. And we'll see. Like, again, like, Samantha, do you prefer to do a private reading? Is that something that you prefer to do? Because again, like, again, like, you guys must, I'm sure you understand, like, it's just kind of like, oh, like, the Patreon support so important, but at the same time, like, I don't want to keep people waiting, and it's possible that no one might sign up, and then it turns into me just sitting here for an hour. And if that's the case, then you know, it might just be more worthwhile to just do a reading for Samantha, who is one of our Patreon supporters as already. And again, Samantha can also get a private reading as well. So cool. All right, thank you again, everyone, for hanging out and for holding space. And again, when you sign up to the Patreon, you can also choose to get a reading with the Lightworker Oracle deck or the Ananda Tarot deck. So whichever one works for you, we can do that for you as well. So all right, so again, at this point, yeah, so again, I think a couple people shared it, so we got like 20 people tuned in right now. Samantha, what do you think? Do you feel like we should do a reading for you, and that way, again, like, that we'll just do it and we'll just kind of put our trust in the universe? So and and then again, in that way, so the people who are tuned in can at least be able to receive the value of what it is that we're offering here as well. And then again, those people might be inspired to be able to check out the Patreon at a later date. So Samantha, let me know, do you feel like we should do a reading for you on air in this moment? And if that's the case, Samantha, you can again choose if you would like the Lightworker Oracle deck or the Ananda Tarot deck. And for those of you who are tuned into this broadcast somewhere, according to Facebook, there's like maybe 25 people tuned in right now. Go ahead and check out the Patreon link, which you can see on screen, to be able to check out more of the work that I do and to add your support there for an on-air reading, plus lots of other good stuff that we got as well. So, all right, we'll wait to hear from Samantha to be able to confirm. And that way, so for the people who are tuned in right now, we can still send the message out there as well. So cool. All right, Samantha, if you're still in the chat, go ahead and let us know. It's possible, I'm not entirely sure whether or not she's there. So again, I'm just kind of checking the chats. So we got about 5 people tuned in on YouTube right now. Not sure if anybody's tuned in on Twitch. A couple people tuned in on Instagram. Aloha, Instagram fam. Go ahead and drop an 1111 in the chat if you're tuned in on Instagram. And according to Facebook, like about 20 people tuned in on Facebook. Yo, Anto, thanks for joining in, dude. All right, so again, for those of you who may just be here, we did a reading right off the start for our friend Lindsay, And that was a reading right out of the chat, and we're ready to get into another reading either as soon as someone signs up for the Patreon or as soon as we hear back from Samantha. So okay, cool. All right, Samantha, let's just do it. Let's just, again, like, that's the thing, like, I'm sure you guys understand, like, when we do these broadcasts, like, literally sometimes I'll do a broadcast, I'll like pour my heart and soul into it, and like no one will sign up, and then like, and sometimes after that I'm just like, oh man, like that, like, you know, that makes me feel things, and I'm just like, but at the same time I'm just like, all right, gotta stay resilient, gotta try again, because you never know what seeds you're planting, and you always want to be able to like give people like a good invitation to be able to connect further. And then you never know, we might do another broadcast and then suddenly like 5 people sign up right during that broadcast. So we're gonna do a reading here for Samantha, and again, Samantha is one of our newest Patreon supporters, or she signed up a little while ago. And yeah, Inner Flame and Samantha, both of you are Patreon supporters, so yeah, you two are welcome to get connected as well. Again, that's part of the idea, is that you're connecting as a team here. So let's do the next reading for Samantha. Samantha, did you want to do the Lightworker Oracle deck? And I assume maybe you want to do the Lightworker Oracle deck or the Ananda Tarot deck. And this may be our last reading. Again, if we can do this reading, and again, even if Samantha and Lily, if you guys are able to like invite people to sign up for the Patreon, then then, oh, did you already say which deck you wanted? Did I miss that? Okay. No, Samantha, yeah, let me know which. I'm seeing your comments, Samantha. But yes, let me know if you would like the Ananda Tarot deck or the Lightworker Oracle deck. And yes, I'm keeping a close eye on the chats. So yeah, we can do one or the other for Samantha. One of our recent Patreon supporters signed up. So all right, so Samantha, once we confirm which deck you would like to use, Lightworker Oracle deck or the Ananda Tarot deck, let me know, and we will get right into this next reading. And again, we'll put on a good show for all the people tuned in. And again, we'll plant the seeds, share the inspiration, invite people to be a part of the Paradigm Shift Central community, and yeah, and they can always check out the Patreon at a later date. And yeah, still working towards those objectives of, yeah, just having more people signed up. And you can see our goal for the Patreon, which is currently at about 165 towards our goal of 200. So, all right, Samantha, sorry, if you haven't already yet, which deck do you want? I'm not entirely sure if Samantha is maybe like behind on the replay, because I feel like the chat might be a little bit delayed. So Samantha, still looking to confirm, would you like the Lightworker Oracle deck or the Ananda Tarot deck? And Boo1111, thanks for joining. If this is your first time, please feel free to just hang out. Okay, Lightworker Oracle deck. Okay, that's what I figured that's what you were going to choose anyway, so that's perfect. All right, I have to restart the Instagram feed, so I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, cool. So give me 2 seconds. Here's Samantha. I just have to restart the Instagram. For those of you on Instagram, go ahead and click the link in my bio to tune in on YouTube. That's where like you can like watch properly. Right now on Instagram, it's more the secondary camera. So hang tight, Instagram. We're going to restart the feed. And once we do that, we'll get right into this next reading for Samantha. And again, thank you, Samantha, for your support and for allowing us to be able to hang out here as a team and hold space and be able to kick butt. And just give me 2 seconds here. It takes just a couple minutes to be able to restart the Instagram feed. Okie dokie. All right. The one I did first was the Ananda Tarot deck. So yeah, we can do the Lightworker Oracle deck. Honestly, the Lightworker Oracle deck is like really fun, so we'll do that one. Both of them are great. All right, restarting the Instagram feed right now. All right, aloha to those of you watching this on Instagram in the future. We're just about to get into our next reading for Samantha. And I think I'm gonna restart the feed in the 1111 movement group. Maybe I'll do that to be able to invite more people to tune in as we get right into this next reading. Yo, hippy dippy flower child, thanks for joining. Good to see you. Hippie, if you want to click the link in my bio, you can tune in on YouTube and hang out there. Samantha and Lily are in the chat, and I'm sure there are other people in the chat as well. So I am going to close the broadcast on the 1111 movement group, and I'm actually going to restart it just as we get ready to do this next reading. So hang tight, everyone. Catin, oh man, Catanasm? Is that how I pronounce your name? Sorry, I apologize. Thanks for joining in. All right, restarting the feed in the 1111 movement group. Hang tight, everyone. This will just take one more extra second. And Samantha, confirm for me that you are ready. Anto, thanks for joining in. I'm glad you made the jump from Instagram over to the YouTube. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Okay, I'm just about to restart the broadcast in the 1111 movement group, if this works properly, which it should. Okay. All right. Okay, starting watch party. All right, so Samantha, you're ready? Let's get right into this reading. Okay. All right. Looks like we got things working there. So with that said, we will get right into this reading. And for those of you joining on the 1111 movement group, thank you so much for joining in. We're just about to get into our next reading for Samantha, one of our recent Patreon supporters. So thank you so much, Samantha, for joining in. Awesome. All right, Samantha, for everybody here, thank you for being here. My name is Brendan, aka Wolf Shield. We do these readings for people in the community as they sign up for the Patreon. You can see the link for the Patreon down below. If you're here for the first time, allow this to just be a chance for you to get to like meet me. And if you're curious to learn a little bit more about the work that I do and to even join on the Patreon, then check that link out when you get a chance. The information is pinned in the comments. And again, I'm a full-time conscious media creator, an award-winning Canadian filmmaker, director of Paradigm Shift Central, and a super devoted and just like inspired individual who is here helping build a global team of badass individuals who are helping shift paradigms. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in. Please feel free to share this broadcast with your friends so you can share the inspiration of the message that we are broadcasting here together. And with that said, Samantha, let's get ready to drop into this next reading. And this might be the last reading for today, because I have to go to hockey. All right. Let's do this, team. For those of you in the 1111 group, drop an 1111 in the chat. Make sure that I can see that you're here. All right. So, Samantha, for everybody here, just take a moment here to be able to drop into our heart space. Just allow yourself to breathe. Just take a few breaths here as you practice connecting with this space of gratitude. And again, just feeling this connection with all the amazing people who are tuned in right now. People who are passionate about helping change the world. Samantha, as you're in this place of gratitude, inviting you to be able to focus on the intention of show me what I need to see. Speak that intention and even the intention of show us what we need to see for all the people tuned in, for all the people who are listening right now. Speak that intention with your heart, with your mind, with your words, with your soul. Focus on that for a few more moments. Continue to breathe here, Samantha. And when you are ready, type now into the chat and we shall split the deck and we shall pull the card for you. And it'll give me an extra second here as I charge it up. And oh, my friends, can you feel the magic within? Can you feel the ways in which we are constantly learning how to begin to awaken within this dream to more of what it seems, understanding the practice in the play on the stage within this dream? And so as we continue to rise through the many stories of our life, as we continue to spread these wings and continue to fly through the skies oh so high, let us ignite into the many colors that we are and spread our light across the sky so that others continue to be inspired by the stories of you and of I. And so for all the light workers and light guardians and shifters unite, let us continue to change this world through the power of this light as we dance our way through the shadows of this night and transmute all that is needed to be able to stand within this fight, and we hold the sword of our word with courage and deep devotion as we bring forth the power of the ancestors to be able to change the rhythm of this ocean. So Samantha, when you are ready, type now into the chat, and we shall split the deck and see what message the universe has. So just waiting on that now from Samantha within the chats. And once we have that there, we shall pull the card and we shall see what message the universe has for everybody who is also tuned in right now. So Samantha, if you're still there, Samantha's taking those deep breaths. She's like really focusing on the intention now. Samantha, when you're there, go ahead and drop that now into the chat, and we shall pull the card. I'll just charge it up just for a little bit more. Maybe Samantha got disconnected. I don't know. We're just going to keep holding space here. There it is now. Draw. All right. The card is pulled. Thank you, Samantha. All right. I hope you guys enjoy my theatrical performance. So, all right. Cool. Ooh, this is a new one. I like it. The first card, the second card for this reading, for this broadcast that we are pulling at this moment right now for Samantha, one of our newest Patreon supporters, is number 22, Initiation by Fire. Whoa, look at that. At the bottom there, Initiation by Fire. All right, so give me a few seconds here. Going to open up within the book, and again, the way how we do this, for those of you who are here, we're going to read from the book, we're going to talk about the card, and then we're going to dive deep together. And let me see, do I have one of my cards? One of the get this one. All right, cool. I'm just like choosing which Light Guardian Crystal I want to use. Each one's got like their own flavor to it. So all right, this is card number 22, Initiation by Fire. So allow me to just explain it here. For those of you who are here in the 1111 movement group, thank you so much for joining in. Again, let this just be a sample of just kind of like the value that we're creating here within the community. If you want to be able to connect further with the work that I do, if you're even just curious to be able to check it out, to watch some of the full-length movies I've done, the free guided meditations, check out the link on screen, patreon.com/Brendan Colton. And as people sign up for that, they can also get readings on air and also private readings and coaching and lots of cool stuff, including Light Guardian Crystals. All right, let's dive into this. So this is a new card for me. I actually haven't read this card. Again, this deck's still pretty new for me too. And again, I'd love to get one new Patreon sign up as we're doing this broadcast in the next half hour. So putting out that intention, let's do it. So what do we have here? And Samantha, again, just let us know that you're here in the chat so that we know that you're receiving this message. And for anybody here, if you're here, this message is for you. So thank you for joining. So we have this beautiful image here of this woman, this female figure who is in this circle, this sphere of like a bubble of light, and she is holding this fire in her palms, and there's this beautiful like ray of light kind of coming down from the heavens, and you can actually see that there's like kind of like an astral city like in the sky, in the clouds above. And again, just like these beautiful colors. She's kind of standing on the edge of a stream. You can actually see there's like a bit of a stream kind of flowing behind her, and she's like on like the edge of it, and these beautiful trees kind of like what are they look like geez, what are the name of those? Cherry blossoms. They look like cherry blossom trees blossoming behind her there. And again, she just has this like very, very relaxed look on her face. Her doing a little bit of smile asana yoga with her smile like pointed up towards the sky. And again, just kind of like this beautiful rays coming out from this like astral city above. So again, that's just the literal me explaining literally what's on the card. And again, let's dive a little bit deeper. So again, as we're doing this, thank you again everyone for joining in. Go ahead and check out my Patreon when you can, sign up for it, join our Paradigm Shift community as a leading member, get involved. And yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining in. Jen, thanks so much. Just seeing your comment there, Jen. So Jen, you're currently donating at the $3 a month. I think you must have signed up a while ago, right, Jen? But yeah, Jen, if like if you want to do like a private reading sometime, just let me know. We can set that up, because I did actually like redo my Patreon, so like now the lowest level is the $5 level. But Jen, we can get you set up for that. So let me know, or if you want to increase your pledge, that's always an option too. Whatever works for you. All right, let's focus in on this. And again, if anybody is in a position where they are ready to sign up for the Patreon, go ahead and make my day. I'm just joking. You've already made my day simply by being here, but I'd love to be able to get one new Patreon sign up during this broadcast, which will inspire me to keep doing more of it. So thank you again, team, for your support. I'm already inspired. It's all good. Number 22, Initiation by Fire. Initiation by fire is a life-changing spiritual cleansing. Your life will never be the same again. Allow the power of divine fire to clear and purify you inside and out. This is not a time to hold on to anything, no matter how much you once believed you needed it. In letting go, you will gain so much more than you ever imagined, opening to fresh blessings and new life. You are, like the phoenix, ready to emerge from the holy flames, reborn. So again, just listen carefully. Here we go. Thanks. Thanks, Samantha. I'm so serious, guys. I'm just super serious here. So, all right. You have the spirit of the phoenix in you. And again, for everybody here, if you're here, let this message be spoken to your heart. You have the spirit of the phoenix in you. You are able to rise again and again. Even at times, all seems lost. You are guided to remember this, as you are now being spiritually cleansed through initiation by fire. During such times, you will feel that you are being asked to let go of relationships, situations, sometimes even jobs and attitudes, and belief systems that you have relied upon until this point. You might have unintentionally placed more faith in that person, place, belief system, or identity than you placed in the divine. And you might have held onto them rather than allowing the divine to guide you. This can happen easily on the earth plane. Sometimes these attachments become confining rather than supportive. In such cases, you will need to free yourself to continue your life journey. During the initiation by fire, all such attachments are burned away. A new life is a blessing, but that doesn't mean it is easily won. Sometimes the process can be challenging to the mind, even while the heart trusts in what is taking place. Whatever has been your stronghold in life, such as a family, a marriage, job, security, a talent, or something that you have used to define your sense of self, will be where the fire burns brightest. Those areas will be transformed. Letting go and allowing that to happen to the very parts of your life that you are most protective of can require deep faith. You have to remember that love is real so that you can hold on to your courage whilst you let go and allow the divine to have its way. Remember that the power of fire is destructive only in part. It also stimulates rapid new growth. Healing will arise in whatever area is being transformed. It is not only an ending, but also a beginning. The experience of initiation by fire is the divine making its presence felt in your life. It will be one of the most freeing and empowering experiences you have whilst in the physical body. It may ask you to confront fears and insecurities as you learn to trust the divine unconditionally. Know that the universe will always provide for you, and always in the way that is best for you. Even if you don't understand why it needs to happen, the way it does at the time. Keep your eye on the inner transformations that are occurring, rather than fearing the outer changes. The universe loves you and holds you in high regard. Remember this and trust. Initiation is an advanced spiritual lesson. You are being honored by what is happening in your life now. You are strong enough to get through it and to thrive into new life, like a radiant phoenix triumphantly emerging from the sacred fire. Okay, all right. Awesome. Wow, that's very interesting, Samantha. Samantha, like saying like this is very on point. So that's very cool. All right, so for those of you who are here, we're gonna dive deeper. 1 second. My voice is getting sore. I hope you guys appreciate the fact that when I talk like this, it sometimes requires even more energy that after a while can put a strain on my throat chakra. So, all right. So, for those of you who are here, let this message be for you. This is a very, very powerful card to be able to receive, and Samantha is even saying that this is incredibly valuable and insightful for her because this is what Samantha wrote. I asked the universe for insight on a big move I have to make that would have to leave my job after 4 years. So this is a card that is really inviting you to be able to acknowledge the moments in our life where there are those big changes that are taking place, and to be able to invite us into those deeper place of trust. And again, those changes can be things like literally belief systems, they can be relationships, as Samantha's saying, they can be jobs, they can be something where it's like moving to a new location. It's one of those things where it's like the universe has a plan, the universe has a path, and when you're in your heart center, you're able to be able to trust in the path as it is unfolding. It is oftentimes our resistance to the path that creates more suffering than is required. Yet when we allow ourselves to surrender to the process, we allow ourselves to be a part of the experience of both destruction and rebirth. And so that is like one of the things that I really, really like. It's incredibly amazing in this reality, the idea that, again, like energy is not lost, nothing lasts, but nothing is lost. And so again, it's kind of like this idea that where one door closes, another opens. Where one piece of energy shifts, it makes room for something more. And so for you, Samantha, I would encourage you to like really see whatever it is that you're going through to be like something that you just like, okay, this is calling me into like a new place of courage, a new place of courage that I know is within inside of me, and now I get to demonstrate it. Now I get to bring it to the surface, and also to be able to, this is very powerful, fall in love with the mystery of the unknown. So even though there may be a sense of loss and letting go and everything like that, it doesn't have to be something, depending on what it is, that you necessarily even choose to be sad about. Like you can literally, again, like sometimes, like, have you ever had those experiences where you like write out an intention, or you write down like some sort of something important to you or a limiting belief, and then you like cast it into the fire, and then you're standing there and you're just like watching it burn, and you're actually smiling, and you're just like, oh, like that felt good. And it's kind of like in this process to be able to understand that everything kind of has its own life cycle. And a relationship will never last longer than it's meant to. Oftentimes, like some people will try to continue a relationship for longer than it's meant to, and people have hard time letting go. And this can be a process that can take a while, but usually in that process, that's only evoking more suffering. So it's our grip, it's our holding on, which is like actually like causing us the most suffering. So instead, it's like being able to like let go in love, let go in courage, and allow the process to naturally occur. Especially, and whether or not this is fully relative to you, Samantha, especially if your actions are kind of like, in some ways affecting someone else's life, like if you're just like, oftentimes we resist the initiation by fire because we hold on to that which we are familiar with, because we are scared of that which is unfamiliar to us. Yet in the process of holding on to what we are familiar with, sometimes we end up hurting those we love. Sometimes we end up hurting those who are closest to us, because us holding on to them is like preventing them from spreading their own wings. And I'm sure maybe you've been in a relationship like this, or you've seen friends who have gone through relationships like this, and it's hard to see, because it's just like, oh, like just let the relationship burn, just let it burn, like it's okay, and even the burning of it is not the destruction of it. If anything, it's the transformation of it. It's the alchemical process. It's a transformation to make room for something new. And so if you've ever seen this in a relationship where, again, it could be a situation where it's like, two people might have had like this really, really passionate like love affair, and things were going like really great, but then things just kind of like didn't really work out, and then there was a lot of fire and everything like that. But then after a while, like it, like that fire just like kind of like wiped out the relationship. But then over time, a meaningful friendship emerged. And then those two people were just like, wow, like I learned so much through that shitstorm that we went through together, and I have so much respect for you. And now I can actually like see you through this new lens and see myself through this new lens, and I want to do my best to be able to show up as a friend for you if that's something that is like relative to the relationship. Obviously this is like very kind of specific and everything like that. But again, like in the initiation by fire, it's really about being able to acknowledge our fears, and to acknowledge our fears, but then to be able to see deeply where those fears are coming from. And oftentimes those fears are coming from in circumstances are coming from, again, kind of like just like an uncertainty, and just kind of like a fear of, it can be like deeply rooted stuff. It can be like, like fear of abandonment, feel of self-worth that might be lacking in things like that. And so again, for you, Samantha, and for anybody else listening to this, if there are moments within your life that are either happening now or happening in the future, and it feels like it's like at a point where there's like, there's stress, or there's something where it's like, oh shit, man, like things are on fire, this is chaos, get out of the house, like get out of the relationship, get out of the job, get out of the circumstances, let go of that belief, like this is too much drama, this is too much stress. Like that stress can again be like an initiator element that creates the space for new life to be able to breathe, where like the foundations might get wiped out, but then the soil becomes fertile. And it's one of those things where it's like whatever's meant for you will find its way to you. And sometimes it's one of those things where it's like, be it a relationship or otherwise, where it's like if you really feel a calling within your heart and like you really love this person, like let them go. If holding together is like causing more suffering than joy, then that's probably a good prompt where it's like, okay, something needs to change here, let's let go. But then within that letting go, it also creates space for new life to emerge, and maybe that creates the opportunity for you and that other person to be able to focus more on yourself as individuals, and then down the road, if it's meant to be, you'll find your way back to each other. But at the same time, again, like I can't help but think about the idea of twin flames within this. And I think a lot of people, they probably have a little bit of a misconception about twin flames. Not to say there's like one specific way to be able to explain it. But again, like I think a lot of people, they look at past relationships and they see a past relationship and there's like, oh, like I thought that person was my soulmate because I love them so deeply, when it turned out that they was actually just a twin flame. And a twin flame is, again, like someone who is there to spark your growth. And that's where like pretty much like any relationship that you've been in is a twin flame relationship, because it helped you grow. But at the same time, it probably wasn't meant to last, and the actual destruction of that relationship was a part of the growth experience, was a part of you like going through this process where, like, again, initiation by fire is very applicable when you think of the heartbreak that we experience going through the end of a relationship. But again, we bring ourselves into this new place where it's like, oh shit, when I was in that relationship, I thought my happiness was dependent on that other person, and I thought that I could only be happy with them. But now I've been single for like 16 months, and out of this, or 16 weeks or something like that, or however long, 16 days, I don't know, 16 hours, like out of this, I've suddenly begun to realize that those parts where my heart was hurting was actually places where I was like able to turn love on within myself, to point love towards myself. And in doing that, I actually began to love myself more, and I actually began to develop a deeper relationship with myself. And it brought me into this new place of resilience and understanding and deep compassion. And it just like helped continue to grow forward and onward in that way. So again, getting close to just kind of chatting about this for a little bit more, and I'll read your comments on screen, Samantha, for anybody and anybody else who feels, if this is relative to you, drop those 1111s in the chat. But again, I think what's important to this, Samantha, for anybody here, is that like when you feel the fire burning, can you trust it? Can you trust those moments where reality is like, hey, here's a great chance for you to practice letting go, and to practice kind of like seeing what may be around the corner. And until you let go, you won't be ready to receive. Until you clear out the space, you won't have space to be able to receive that new thing, that new part of the journey, that new item, that new relationship, that new job, that new adventure. And so, yeah, holding on to what we're familiar with is kind of what being a human being is about. And standing up for something that we love is kind of what being a human being is about. But we have to be aware. We have to be aware where it's just like, okay, either the universe is like telling me that holding on to this is just simply not what needs to happen, or if me holding on to this is simply not healthy for myself and maybe another person in the circumstances. And then again, you know, through that, listen to your inner wisdom, listen to your inner guidance, and follow the voice that is like, follow the path that feels most exciting, even if it feels scary. And honestly, I would encourage you to like choose a path that feels harder sometimes, you know? And that's where, again, you know, like be in relationships, it's like, oh, well, it's easier to stay in the relationship, but it's harder to break up, and especially if you're initiating the breakup, and then to be able to like kind of trust in this process of being able to say like, I know there's something else out there for me. And that's what I'm saying yes to. I'm saying yes to me. It's not like I'm saying no to the relationship. I'm saying yes to me. So you want to be able to say yes to you as much as you can. And saying yes to you is also saying, yes, I am fucking courageous. I am fucking brave. And I'm saying yes to the universe and being able to say, I am yes and ready to receive that which is coming my way. And until you let go of that, until the fire, you know, has kind of like that's the thing, you know, if the fire is burning and you keep your hand in it, you're just like prolonging the suffering. And you can literally try and hold on as long as you want, because there's a lesson there, and you can choose to be as stubborn as you want. And maybe you'll do that, and then maybe next time you'll be like, yeah, remember last time when I was like really, really stubborn? Like, nah, I'm not going to do that this time. Like, that was not worth it, right? So again, whatever choice you make is meaningful. And I think that's something very important to keep in mind, Samantha, and for anybody else listening to this. Whatever choice you make is meaningful, because there's something that you will learn from the choice that you make. Drop an 1111 if that makes sense. And again, in doing that, you will be able to decide and be like, oh, okay, the fire's burning. All right, time to get out of the house. Time to move out of Dodge. Time to kind of like move into like what's next. Because you can't stand in the fire. Like, standing in the fire is just going to prolong the suffering. So unless you want that, which you could, like that is part of your free will. But at the same time, you can also just be like, yeah, you know what? It's actually like, I would actually just be able to, let's step away from the stress of the fire, and let's let the fire do its thing, and let's focus on getting some fresh air, and let's focus on me, and let's focus on opening up into new adventures and seeing what new doors are ahead. So I'm just kind of reading some of the messages here. Samantha says, I can't believe this is a card you pulled. I needed this sign to take the leap and go for it. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that, Samantha. Again, I'm just a conduit. Hey, I'm just your friendly voice of the universe doing what it can to be able to help assist you. Sign up to my Patreon. So, I appreciate you acknowledging the value, though. Jen, thanks for your comments. Thanks for your support. Lily, thanks for your comments. Inner Flame, thanks for your support. Again, I'm just seeing if there's any comments that I might have missed here. And again, Samantha, let me know how this resonates with you. There's an invocation here. We're gonna read that in a second. Aw, Samantha. Oh wait, no, that was okay. I just saw Samantha's comment and I thought it was like towards me, but it was actually towards Lily, where it says, "You are pure light. I adore you so much already." And I thought that was towards me, and I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." But at the same time, that is so sweet, and thank you for saying that to Lily. And I appreciate you guys adoring each other. So, meanwhile, I'm just sitting here. I'm just like, does anybody love me? So, I'm just joking. I know. I appreciate it. So, all right. Okay. Here's so I think I already explained this pretty well, and again, I have to head out for hockey soon, so I'm not gonna keep talking about this. I'll just be repeating myself if I do. I'm just reading over any things here. So again, yeah, like it may ask you, so the fire, it may ask you to confront your fears and insecurities as you learn to trust the divine unconditionally. So what does that look like for you, Samantha? What does that look like to trust the divine unconditionally? And I think when you trust the divine unconditionally, it's kind of like this idea of like jumping off a cliff and growing wings and learning how to fly after you jump off the cliff. Which I know, like, that's a crazy idea, right? Like, it's literally like you build your wings as you jump sometimes, or it's like you kind of like jump and it's like you trust that the universe has like a parachute for you or something like that. But again, the universe loves courage, you know? And that's the thing, Samantha, like the synchronicities will follow you wherever you go. And I guarantee you that like you'll go to this new place and right away you'll start getting signals. It's not like you'll go somewhere and you'll just be like, oh no, I've somehow exited out of the grace of the universe and now I'm no longer being supported by it. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. Wherever you go, the universe will be there with you. And again, I think it's exciting for you to be at this point where you're feeling the call to kind of move into a next big chapter. And once you go there, keep an eye open for the synchronicities that is just going to be there to remind you and be like, it's going to be okay. Like, it's cool. Like, we got you, fam. We are still here with you. And again, and for you to just be proud of yourself. That's one thing I will say, Samantha. I want you to give yourself permission to be proud of yourself and to let that pride actually kind of like cultivate into a sense of excitement and joy. It's kind of like this idea of knowing that there's like a party already waiting for you and to start getting ready for that party now. But at the same time, also take time to reminisce of where you came from and express that gratitude and go through any process of grief. Because yeah, there's a period of like loss and everything like that, but there's also looking back with gratitude. And I think that's what's very, very valuable. So you're just like, I've been where I am in order to get to where I am now, in order to get to where I'm going, you know? So it's like, where have I been? Who am I now? Where am I going type thing? And where you have been has prepared you to make this big jump, to make this big next step into your journey. So here's the invocation for anybody here. Yo, Morphic, thanks for joining in. Another one of our Patreon supporters. All right, here's the invocation here. As I read this, let this be like a message for anybody to kind of imagine themselves saying it to themselves. Invocation. Through my own free will, I choose to trust in the sacred fire to cleanse my soul, my mind, and my body. I have the spirit and power of the phoenix in me. Phoenix power, pew pew pew. My spirit will be triumphant, rising out of the sacred divine fire. So I surrender my life into the holy fire of love. That which no longer serves me may be cleansed from my being, and rapid growth of new life can flow through me. May I be helped in tenderness, mercy, and grace as I successfully pass through the initiation by fire into the loving, fearless power of my own divine nature. May all beings, through divine mercy, be free to love. So be it. Very cool. All right, so initiation by fire. If this card resonates with you, drop those 1111s in the chat. Let me know, and go ahead and leave any other comments. Samantha, let us know if there's like a message that you want to be able to share with the people tuned in right now. That was a super, super cool card. And Samantha, make sure you send me a direct message on Instagram to be able to just like send you the image of that card if that's something that you would like, so that you can read that a little bit later and check it out. So with that said, team, thank you so much everyone for joining in and being here. Cool. Kimmy, thanks for joining. Dermot, thanks for joining. So again, for those of you who may be tuning into this, if this is your first time joining in, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. So you can see the link for my Instagram up in the top. And again, you can check out my Patreon at any point, and I really, really encourage you to check it out. Again, if you're interested in just supporting the work that I do, connecting with a badass team of creators that we got, such as Samantha, woo, and such as Lily, woo, and such as Morphic, woo. So, and anybody else who's tuned into this as well. And again, when you sign up onto the Patreon, you can get one of them dope Light Guardian Crystals. Let's see, which one do I got here? Oh, here's that red one. Here's that fire one. Yes, thank you. I do have hockey soon. Thanks for reminding me. Otherwise, I would have just been here all night. Do I have a guardian angel? Don't we all? I think we have many guardian angels. So yes, I like that question though. It's a very cool question. Thank you, Dermont. So again, team, if anybody here again, for those of you already signed up for the Patreon, a reminder that like, think of it as a sliding scale. So even Samantha, like if you're going to your new job and things work out for you, feel free to remember little Brendan who helped inspire you along the way. And then you're like, you know what, Brendan? Like, hey, like now that I've got a new job and things are working out, like I'm going to increase my Patreon pledge. That's you sending me love. So if that works for you, Samantha, please feel free to do that. And again, for anybody here, if you want to modify your Patreon pledge at any moment, again, is all equally appreciated. And when we boost the Patreon, again, it just allows like more support to be able to help be directed to people at very affordable levels. And again, it helps us continue to do more broadcasts like this where we get to share inspirational messages and support each other and be inspired. So thank you again, Samantha, for your support on the Patreon. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Jen. I didn't give a shout out to Jen. If Jen's still here, thank you, Jen, as well, who was in the chat earlier as well. And how many people do we even got right now? We got about... There's about like 15 people tuned in right now. So if you guys want to hang out in the team chat afterwards, by all means, please feel free to do that. And thank you, Morphic. Thank you again, Samantha. Cool. All right, team. I'm gonna jump off soon and get myself ready for hockey, opposed to just waiting and running out the door last minute. So again, we didn't get any new Patreon signups during this broadcast, but we did plant some dope seeds. And again, thank you so much, Samantha, for adding your support to the Patreon. I'm glad that we followed through with our intuition to be able to deliver that message to you. I am here in service. I am here to support. I am here to be able to help assist and inspire each of us. And again, Samantha, and for anybody else here, if you're interested, reminder that I do have my higher one-on-one soul coaching available. So again, for Samantha and anybody else, if you want to be able to have access to me as like my private, like through my private voice chat, my private Voxer, that is like totally an opportunity to be able to get like even additional support and accountability and to have me in my corner, and we can do more tarot readings. We can do those like throughout the week, throughout the month, depending on what level you sign up at. And again, that's a great way where you can support not only what I'm doing, but support the work that we do for the entire team. So yes, but my hockey's at 10:30. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up now, and I'll be like I'm heading out the door in a couple minutes. So I have 2 hockey games tonight. 2 hockey games. It's because of the league that I'm in. It's like we don't have enough teams, so every now and then every team has to play 2 hockey games in one night. So I have a game at 10:30 and then a game at 11:30. So I'm gonna be pretty bagged tomorrow, but it'll be worth it. Kimmy, thanks for your comments, appreciate it. And again, Kimmy, please feel free, if you wish, you can even just like connect with my personal Facebook profile. I think I'm maxed out on friends, but even feel free to just like send a direct message there and I'll try and free up some space. And again, reminder that you can connect to my Instagram at Mystic Spider-Man. And again, thank you, team, for helping support me and my journey. Again, for those of you who are familiar with where I'm at, I'm working on really being able to build up the bricks of my Patreon, one supporter at a time. And that's helping me with getting ready to be able to move into my new apartment. I was literally checking out some spots today. The seeds are planted. I'm working on getting into it probably by April. So between now and then, increasing the Patreon is literally my job, to be able to have that support, to be able to continue to just like allow me to afford the rent and everything like that. Like right now, like with it is like through the Patreon, it's like earning me like about $1,600 a month, give or take, like Canadian. And my objective over the next 2 months is to increase like my monthly income to over $3,000 a month, which again is just going to allow me to like continue to increase like the global impact that I'm doing. So oh, that's cool. Samantha says, after I signed up for the Patreon, the next day I got a raise. Dude, that's cool, Samantha. So sweet. All right. So again, thank you, everyone. And thank you for honoring the value that we're creating here. Again, for any of the Patreon supporters, please feel free to adjust your pledges based on the value that you feel that we're delivering here as a community. You help make it possible. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And thank you for honoring the path that we are on together. Thank you for helping me like work towards my goal of getting that apartment. Like, that's not just for me, like that's for the team, because that's going to be a studio production apartment. And then I'm just going to be able to focus a lot on being able to like just like pump out a bunch of really, really inspirational content, which I'm really, really excited to be able to do. So for those of you here in the chat, please feel free to connect with each other on Instagram. Go ahead, leave your Instagram tags in the chat. And yeah, with that said, I'm gonna jump off now, and I'm gonna go get some. I'm gonna go to hockey. I'm gonna go get you some goals. So Samantha, thank you again. Lily, Morphic, everybody else. Hey Marley, thanks for joining in. Kimmy, and anybody else who has joined in as well. Marisa, and anybody on the Instagram, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, go ahead and check out my Patreon if you haven't already yet to be able to connect more with the Paradigm Shift Central project. And yeah, reminder, I only have a limited amount of spots for my private one-on-one soul coaching. So if that's something you want, message me about that ASAP. And as always, keep it shifty and pew 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 pew. I shall see you in the future. Yo, Joel, we're just wrapping up, but here, have some Light Guardian energy. Damn, this one's so lit. Like this one is lit, man. Like literally, this is the fire. So sight beyond sight, inner vision. All right, time for me to go to hockey. Much love, everyone. Keep it shifty. I'll see you in the future. Join in for dream class tomorrow at 7 p.m. All right, see you in the team chat. Much love. Thanks again.